We're live? Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hornet Cast. This is ESU IT's very own 360 podcast. What that means is that it's shot in spherical video 360, so if you're watching on YouTube on your phone, you can actually move your phone around and see everything in the room. You can use your finger to scroll through it, and things like that. So we are your hosts. I'm Tyler.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Sandy.
And we're going to talk about what's happening in the world of technology as well as what's happening in the world of IT here at ESU. This is our first podcast, so it's by no means going to be perfect. We're doing it all live, so bear with us. All right, well, let's just start at the top. For IT updates, we've got some events coming up. A lot of them are information security related. So right now we've got information security social media contest going on. That is going on from right now all the way until the 31st. 15th.
We released the winner on the 31st, Halloween.
Right. We're announcing the winner on Halloween. But they have until the 15th.
Until the 15th to get their submissions in.
And this year's theme is horror.
Horror.
Fear or anything, and you have to tie that to information security.
So like
shouldn't be difficult.
Scary movies, things like that.
We've put out a video out there so you guys can see what it's, a little example with instructions. You just post it out with the hashtag ESUSecContest. Put it out on social media and use a lot of forums. And yeah, that's it. You have a chance to win an iPad mini.
Bluetooth
headphones.
headphones.
Yeah, Bluetooth headphones.
Bluetooth
and
speakers.
Yep.
So that the submissions those are all due by the 15th. Speaking of the 15th, that day is also Clean Your Virtual Desktop Day. We've got some social media privacy workshops going on October 18th and 22nd, and there is a wine tasting at Twin Rivers down on Commercial Street on October 26th.
And that's for ESU faculty and staff.
Just for ESU
Just for
faculty,
ESU faculty and staff.
not students.
That would be nice.
Maybe someday. I'm throwing a maybe out there. I'm not promising anything. That's on October 26th. So that's some of the news and events that we've got upcoming. So now we'll go ahead and go into our talking points.
Yeah.
Our first talking point for today is all about Microsoft Ignite. So 2 weeks ago, Brian and I attended Microsoft Ignite. It's Microsoft's annual conference that they have for, well, you could probably explain this better than I. You go ahead and talk about what is Ignite, I guess a quick overview, and you had some other points on there for Ignite as well.
So Ignite is Microsoft's annual conference. They've combined a lot of conferences into one, so it's this massive event with over 30,000 people. So a lot of information, getting first looks at new things that are coming down the pike over the next year, and a lot of walking.
A lot of walking. There's still so
But it's a great event. It's a great opportunity to interact with Microsoft staff, people who are actually working products, product managers, so you get some instant feedback. I'm sure between Tyler and I, we were on different tracks, looking at different things, and just a lot of good things that are coming down the pipe that will have direct impact on the issue.
Yeah, there's an incredibly diverse amount of sessions there. You think, oh, I'm going to go there and I'm going to learn about Office. Well, no, there's workshops where people talk about their own experiences in the workplace and leadership, things that relate to everyone. There's sessions where they do deep dives on hardware, where they're talking about devices that work really well with certain Microsoft products, but also they talk about new hardware that's coming out. It's not just, hey, look what PowerPoint can do in 2019. It's much more than that.
What kind of sessions did you attend?
Can we start?
So mostly what I followed was what we're directly doing here, and that's with building out an internet. So a lot of SharePoint, a lot of Microsoft 365. Yeah, that's really what I focused on. I spent my whole week on that.
Right.
But it was like maybe tenth of what I could have gotten to on that same subject.
And how many people attended?
It was over 30,000. There was a lot of people.
So a lot of sessions and a lot of people.
Yeah, I mostly went to sessions around. I tried to focus really hard on teams and accessibility. In terms of the amount of people that were there were a lot of people, but this is what their, I think, 4th or 5th year as Ignite, something like that. They've been doing it for a while now, and they've got the logistics figured out really well. When we were at the Orange County Convention Center, there was never a point, I mean, there is a lot of walking, but there was never a point where it's like, okay, I'm having to run all the way across to the other side of the convention center because of the way that these sessions lined up. They were able to group things kind of closely together. The expo was very centrally located. All the places where you get breakfast and lunch, those were positioned really well to where it was really easy to move around. So even though there was 30,000 people, you wouldn't even necessarily know that after one day.
And what if you didn't want to do a whole lot of walking? Did they have any accessibility?
Yeah, so one of the things that they had started this in previous ones that I've been to, that they really went all out this year, was having live streaming of, I think, probably 10, 15 different sessions at once, all on one massive screen, and you had personal headphones right up there and listen and watch and hear what was going on, switch channels and move around, so you could really attend multiple sessions at once.
And you can watch it from your phone or your laptop. You can watch the live streams of the sessions. I actually was late to one of my sessions by like a few minutes, and they're like, I'm sorry, we can't let you in right now because it would disturb them, I guess. I don't know, some of them are sticklers and certain ones, some of them are a lot more relaxed. But I was like, okay, that's fine. And as I was walking back to a different part of the convention center, I actually just pulled up the live stream on my phone and watched. So I was able to see the whole session.
Still attended, even though.
Exactly, I didn't have to miss any of it.
Because I mean, what I would think is walking from one place to another.
Yeah.
I mean, if it says it will end at, let's say, 10:59, then the next session starts at 11, you're not gonna have time to.
And I had something like that.
I bet.
Didn't get to go to that.
It did depend. They had a few of them lined out where, okay, these sessions are 20 minutes long and they'll end, at either on the 20-minute mark or the 50-minute mark. They had some of them that would end on the 15, 45-minute marks. They had it spaced out to where you could really control you would have anywhere between 5 to like 30 minutes in between sessions and not actually missing it.
And did you guys like plan it all out in advance, or just
You kind of have to.
Yeah, you plan it out, you get to about half of what you intend to do.
So they have an application that you can actually download, and they have a session schedule. So before the conference, and it's recommended that you do it before anyways, because how it works is you sign up for a session, and then because each room only has a certain amount of capacity that it can hold. So you sign up for the session, and then if it gets full, then you get put on a waiting list. That's their way of not only keeping the room under capacity, but also tracking who went to what sessions, being able to send out surveys and get feedback and everything like that. So you could actually, sometimes I would honestly do it the morning of and go through and just schedule out my sessions. But for the first 2 days, I had those figured out before we even landed in Orlando. Yeah, it's all pretty smooth.
you guys planning on going next?
To be determined.
So what do you think are some of the things that are benefiting the issue by us going down?
For starters, based on the sessions that I attended, I have a lot more knowledge on how we can more effectively use and increase adoption with Microsoft Teams. I think it really drives productivity, and there's lots of usage metrics that we can start tapping into. There's lots of training methods that we can use to help people start adopting it. The other one was accessibility, and there's a ton of best practices and really tips that I went into it thinking, okay, I'm going to learn something on how we can become more compliant, and I ended up walking away with an idea of how we can actually design things better. So there's certain ways that you can design. The example that they used there was this one cathedral where it has this massive amount of steps, and they actually design the steps in a way where there's a ramp that cuts diagonally through them, and it looks like art. I mean, it's designed in a way where it looks really cool, and as it turns out, that ramp along those steps, it goes straight to the front door in a straight line, so it's actually better. It's actually easier for everyone to use that ramp that they built on there, and it doesn't look like it's just accessibility that was bolted on like a wheelchair accessible, like one of those ramps that you see attached to the side of someone's house. It wasn't bolted on. It was implemented in the design.
It wasn't an afterthought. It was something that was.
It was part of the process of building it. Yeah.
And I think that's very important to do as well, because we design it and then we make them not accessible, where we design it in a way where no one can access it. There's no accessibility issue when you start out.
Exactly. So those are a couple of things from off the top of my head, the sessions that I went to that I think would be useful.
So from my perspective, the things that I think are going to be most beneficial is the new things coming to SharePoint. A lot of new stuff coming by the end of the year. For a while there, I was being questioned whether Microsoft's direction with SharePoint Online was going to be give us everything we had in the on-premises version. Now that they're revealing some of what's coming, I can see, they definitely did go in the right direction. And that's really going to help us build out and address some usability issues that we have currently as we build out our intranet. The second thing was at the conference, Microsoft released Office 2019, and in talking to those actually Microsoft people who were working on the Office team, we were able to determine how we can actually change our licensing here to get you to better serve our student faculty staff. So what would you change about the conference or the experience?
Well, it's really sticky in Florida, but pretty much everywhere. Orlando is super humid, but
although having gone to Chicago versus Florida, I think I like Florida.
Yeah. No, I like Florida just fine. I wouldn't necessarily change that.
I think they announced it. Florida next year.
Is it really? Yeah.
It's later.
Okay. Oh, well then that should be perfect then. Yeah, the weather in Florida gets nicer. It's less humid. As far as changing, I think the having dinner provided would be super useful. So, for example, they do provide meals for everyone. It's important that everyone gets fed. Here for travel reimbursements, it becomes really complicated when the conference doesn't provide all 3 meals for us, because then we have like a certain amount that we get reimbursed for, and it's not always accurate as to the amount that we spent, if we have to go out and buy something on our own, and there's a ton of paperwork that's involved. But if the conference were to provide it for us, it wouldn't be that complicated. The thing is, they do kind of provide dinner, but it's the logistics for their dinner are a complete nightmare. They have this area at the conference called the Expo. It's where all the vendors set up their booths, where they interact with customers, they hand out prizes, they do giveaways, they do little sessions where they talk about new technology. And in that expo area that's full of these booths and it has tons of people in it, they just randomly have these carts sprinkled around with various buffets for like finger food type stuff, where it's like a really small dish and you kind of just mosey around and try a little bit of each thing. Well, but the thing is, since everyone is crammed into that room and there's no actual logistics for line forming, it just becomes this waiting in line party where you wait in one line for 20, 30 minutes, you get a handful of food, and then if you wanted to do that again, or if you wanted to try something different, you'd have to walk around, find something else, the line is going to be insanely long. Anyways, I'm rambling at this point, but it is pretty irritating. Yeah.
And thankfully they only did that one night.
Yeah.
This year in the past, it's been every night like that, so that we wouldn't get reimbursed because they did provide some meal, and your meal is like if you crack them.
I do feel kind of feel like a baby complaining about it because
But I mean, it is food, and you've been busy all day long.
Yeah.
So.
But there's also over 30,000 people.
Well,
The thing is that the logistics for feeding, that they have for breakfast and lunch, spot on, fantastic.
They nailed that.
They have nailed that. And so maybe it's an expense thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm less mad about it being on Microsoft's side, and maybe I'm just more irritated at the reimbursement process.
How many times have you gone before?
This is our third again.
Third one.
I think you did 4 because it was what Tech Ed before.
No, actually, I went to the very first one.
Oh, that was the first of 9. Yeah, so it's been a couple times now. And you'll see that they give people backpacks each year, and each year the backpacks look different, and so people usually take them. And if you want to be like, hey, I've been to this many events, you can wear the one from like a few years back. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, and I've had people like at the airport like, oh, so you went to Chicago? It's like, yeah. And then you start a conversation and you get to talking.
I would make the conference 1 day less.
1 day, 1 fewer day? Or one less day?
Yes. So, because we had to travel, we couldn't go on Friday anyway. But honestly, by Thursday, I went and found a comfy chair and watched all my sessions. So,
Thursday during the day?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotcha.
So I would really reduce. And the other thing, I was a little disappointed that the following week they introduced new Surface hardware.
Oh, yeah. That was kind of
It would
weird.
have been nice if they would have reversed the order on that. And so
You guys got the first
seen the new hardware.
Exactly, that's how it was at the previous.
Yeah, well, in the previous year, we got to see the new hardware the first day we released it.
Yeah.
The only problem was that was at an Adobe conference.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We were at Max.
So, and that actually happened 2 different Adobe conferences. So that was Ignite.
Yeah, there weren't any other talking points you had for that. Okay.
Hardware. We're talking about hardware. What about it?
Oh, for hardware, well, that's the thing. We didn't actually get the hardware at Ignite, so we'll talk about their hardware was something different. Okay, so that was Ignite. Let's move on to our second talking point, which is ChargeGate. So you know more about this than either of us. Tell us about Apple's ChargeGate.
Okay. So I've been going through the internet, watching YouTube tech videos, NKBHD and all of them, taking their 2 cents about it, and unbox therapy and stuff. People that have like 12 iPhone XS's and XS Max, they test it and see how
it's their job.
And I mean, they've covered it really well, but what I've noticed is when you connect your iPhone, and this might be, I don't think they know yet if it's a software issue or a hardware issue, but basically the idea is when you connect your phone to the charger and you leave it down there, you kind of expect it to charge.
Right.
Well, with few devices, it's not all devices, with few devices, you have to actually tap the screen in order for it to recognize, oh, you connected a charger, it's time to charge. It's just a first world inconvenience kind of thing, but when you're paying that kind of money, there isn't a whole lot of room to go, oh, well, that's fine. So a lot of people, what happens is they charge it and they leave it there expecting it to charge, and the next night they look at their phone and it's dead.
Which can really be irritating if you had something important to do in the morning.
Now, as a matter of what's going on, I mean, they're still working on the iOS 12.1 beta, and I think it fixes it in that. I mean, I'm not sure just yet, but I think what happened is the new, so have you guys heard of Breaky? Okay, so there was this company that created a software that can crack your iPhone, your password.
Oh, yeah.
So if you have 4 digits, well, it just needs a brute force, and it's been hacked. 6 digits, brute force, and hacked. Well, a lot of people have been, buying these softwares, especially law enforcement and stuff, to crack iPhones. So as a way to mitigate that, what Apple did was, if you were to connect anything into the lightning port and it's locked, it won't detect it. So if I connect this to my computer, well, it's not going to detect it unless I unlock it.
Right.
As a safety feature. So what I think has happened, and I'm not 100% sure, what I think has happened is when you do connect it, it kind of mixes the security feature with the charging feature, and that's why when you tap it, it goes, oh, I see you connected a charger.
Yeah, because normally when you connect it to your Windows, well, it's
Windows
usually
or
a Mac.
Right.
But sometimes I've noticed it on connecting it to Windows too. It pops up a message on your screen on your phone saying, do you want to trust this computer?
So they've gone a step further to protect your iPhone. Because, I mean, root forcing, they don't want you to, because Apple's big about privacy, and they don't want you to just break into their phones just like that. So that's one of the features that they've implemented, and I think that could be one of it. Now, if it's a hardware thing, if you think about it, they've sold about 200 million devices, and I mean, I picked this up from NPDHD, the YouTube video, and what he said is, if even 0.01%, and I think the numbers might be a little wrong, but even if 0.01% of the 200 million phones were affected, 0.01% doesn't sound like a whole lot.
But
that's 21,000 devices that could have been affected. That's 21,000 different people that are really upset. So, I mean, there are things that you got to factor in before you go out and say, oh, Apple's this, Apple's that, ChargeGate, and whatever. There are, it could be hardware, it could be software, it could be a security thing that didn't get implemented properly. So,
and it's just with the new ones, right?
Right, the 10, and I don't think the 10S is having an issue. I think it's just the 10S Max, but I could be wrong. So, I mean, this is just based on what I've been reading on the internet and the YouTube videos, and because I mean, I've seen the actual devices in the Apple Store, but I haven't had first-hand hours and days of usage of it. On the 10, I haven't had any issues because it's last year's device, and so far so good.
So when it comes down to it, should that prevent me from playing?
Not at all. Not at all. It's such
a 0.01% chance.
Right. It's such a minor inconvenience that for right now, you tap it and it'll work.
Yeah,
I think update will be fine.
I think it's just funny whenever we've been through the Bendgate,
right?
We've been through,
which is a pretty big deal.
Oh yeah,
right, it's a pretty big deal.
That was all.
That was an actual hardware failure. So
yeah, I mean that was the design of the
right. You bend it and it cracks, and I mean they fixed it this year. They have more durable glass and stuff.
Yeah.
So
well, and it's good that it's potentially fixable with software. I know they fixed things in the past with software updates. Or patched it to where it looked like it fixed it.
Right.
But certain things like the newest iOS update actually made their older phones faster, and I noticed that 100%.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I have an ancient iPhone.
And if you did upgrade your battery for the $29,
oh yeah, that too.
It's basically like a brand new phone now.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to buy a new one, which is not very Apple-like. I mean, I've been...
They definitely want you to buy the new
right, before Apple even went public with it, I've always said it. Apple does slow down their devices, and that's on purpose. Well, Apple, they came out with their, we slow it down so your battery gets optimized or whatever, and they've provided the feature. So what I've been saying beforehand has come true. So change your battery, upgrade to iOS 12, and you should be fine for maybe another year. But if you want to buy a new device, yeah, absolutely.
I really do. I really do. My battery lasts me half a day.
Did you change the battery?
No, see that's the
okay.
thing.
So,
but then it's like, why would I pay the $30 to go out and change my battery?
$30.
I know, but I could just,
right?
If I'm going to be getting a new phone,
keep that phone though.
I don't want to keep it.
Oh, you want to trade it in?
I don't have a sentimental attachment to the 6S.
See, I have sentimental attachment to the device.
I just don't get that way. Computers, yes, phones.
Yeah. I've got my phone from way back in the day.
I do have old ones that had a time period where it was like, oh, this is the first cell phone I got.
Oh,
okay. I don't think I have the first cell phone, but I had the first smartphone that I ever got. I still have that one laying in a box somewhere.
Doing nothing. Right, doing nothing. I got one of those Motorola's, the world's thinnest. It's like
the Razr.
No. It's like a brick phone. It doesn't do anything but call and text.
Oh.
It's like this thin, black and white screen, and I'm pretty sure if I were to charge it up today, it would still work. So.
Yes, that's the thing I heard. checked it out. Maybe they'll
I'm sure. I'm
still work.
100% sure we would.
Or Verizon would probably be knocking on my door saying, "Why did you turn that phone on?" Okay, so anything else that you guys want to talk about for ChargeGate?
Nope.
Okay. So the last topic that we're going to cover, we can just kind of talk about highlights from the most recent hardware releases. So this would be for the Apple event, the Microsoft event, and the Google event. The most recent one was the Google event, which surprised no one. All the rumors and the leaks were true, so
I don't think any event surprises anyone anymore. Unless you're not keeping up with the rumors, then yeah, sure. But
one new thing that I hadn't seen a rumor about, so maybe it's just I missed that rumor. I didn't realize that they were releasing new hardware other than the phone, like a new device.
For Apple?
No, for Google.
Oh, okay.
They had that new Pixel
Slate.
tablet, Pixel Slate, that's what it was. So it looks like they decided to move away from the laptop business, and they're just focusing it. I mean, it can be a laptop.
Yeah, not clear if they're giving up on laptops altogether, but
They had the Pixel Book before.
they clearly saw some benefit here in offering a tablet to compete with the Surface and the iPad Pro.
Right. Which, I don't know when the last time that I heard an announcement about a new tablet was. Probably the previous. I guess there's a new Surface. Surface laptop. Wait, there's a new Surface Pro too. Okay, that's right.
As well as the Surface Go.
Yeah, the Surface Go. Well, see, with that one, I guess it didn't. That one, the thing that wowed me about the Surface Go was like it's a new form factor.
right.
It's still a Surface, but what was exciting to me about that one is the price and the form factor. So, if you just need something for simple note-taking, web browsing, but you don't want to spend $1,000, which is harder and harder to do now.
I guess I'm a little surprised on there's a range of prices, but by the time you add the keyboard, $200 keyboard,
It's like $550, I think, if you get the 128 gigabyte with the Pentium and you add a keyboard again. And that's the more powerful option. It's either you can choose between it, but again, it's for web browsing
Right.
or note taking.
Not light users, not anything heavy.
Yeah, it's not for power users.
the most interesting thing is the focus on Chrome OS over Android.
On Google's focus on Chrome OS over Android, which that was weird to me. I thought it was Android when I first saw it, but it is Chrome
I think it's
OS.
Chrome OS.
Huh. It looked like Android because it had the app style buttons.
Yeah, I think it's Chrome OS.
And their lower processor is actually Celeron.
For what?
The
Slate.
For the Surface? Oh, for Google. Oh, for the Slate. Yeah, it's the Celeron.
So Microsoft may have
It's bigger though, isn't it?
I think the screen's a lot better.
Isn't it like the size of the
13
iPad
inch?
Pro?
14 inch? I forgot what it was.
I can't remember. It might be about the size of the Surface Pro. Not the Surface Go, but the Surface.
I saw some of their marketing promos, and that screen was cool.
The
Slate.
Pixel Slate.
I don't know much about how smooth the whole Chrome OS on that particular device is, but
Yeah, we'll have to see. So the other hardware that they released the Pixel 3, obviously.
and the Pixel 3 XL.
Pixel 3 XL, which the only difference between the two is the size and the screen. And the notch.
chin.
Which, from what I can tell, it's kind of an interesting take. A lot of companies these days, at least, are going the opposite direction. They're saying we want this, like with the Oppo Find X, it's all screen.
Right.
The selfie camera and the speaker, it pops up from the back. It's not even visible regularly. Whereas with Google, they're like, we want front-firing speakers.
Well,
So it's almost like, because there's a speaker on the bottom too.
See, I don't know with their design, because what I've noticed is no other company in the market has been able to achieve what Apple has done with their bottom
With the
little
screen tucking
fold,
under
exactly
in the bottom.
So
yeah.
I think that's the only reason that Apple doesn't have a chin and everyone does.
You're right.
I think what, and I could be wrong, but what I think is good, it was like an afterthought. It's almost like, well, we can't really do, so we might as well just put a speaker front facing,
I hadn't thought about it.
You know what I mean? Because they
it's
can't really do anything with
exactly.
that. It's going to be there. Might as well put a speaker in there and call it good.
Which, I mean, it works. But
it works. I think, I mean, again, I haven't used the device, but I think it could be probably one of the better sounding speakers out there, front facing stereo speaker system. Yeah.
See the reviews, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, with the tablet though, that was the other thing. With the Pixel Slate, it had front-firing speakers on either side, and a webcam on top. So you know that there's a focus there for media consumption. Just put that in front of the camera.
What's weird though is, so you know how everyone's going for, I have 2 dual rear, 3, 4, 5.
One.
They have 1 in the back, but 2 at the front.
Oh yeah.
How weird is that?
I forget what it's for. Oh, it's for the wide angle.
So they're like,
selfie.
we don't want you to have
group selfie features, what they call it.
And I'm like, I mean, I would say they have one of the best camera softwares in the market. See, the hardware isn't that, you know what I mean? If they really wanted to, they could release the software out of iPhone could use it, or anyone out there could use it.
They don't want to do that.
They don't want to do that. And what's crazy is
they should be.
This whole new camera features that they've included is exclusive for the Pixel 3 which is kind of like, it's not even a Europe support for the Pixel 2.
Right.
Why wouldn't you?
Oh, they kind of left the previous Pixel users out to dry.
Exactly. They want you to upgrade, basically. I mean, it's really what's the upgrade there? It's almost the same.
I think that's a little more dramatic than Apple even.
Yeah.
They're literally dropping support for the previous generation, whereas Apple continues to at least support the previous generation much
I
longer.
would say so. I mean, it's not a hardware limitation because it's this year for people it's an S upgrade, kind of like for iPhones. So there isn't a whole lot of, we've radically changed our design and our processor, and no, it's not a whole lot of that. It's just based on software.
So let's move on to Microsoft's stuff. Their announcements. I guess, what was the most unexpected thing for you guys from the Microsoft and hardware announcements?
The headphones.
The headphones. The headphones for you too? Yeah. I was kind of weirded out by that. They look cool, but
I don't know if I would buy Surface headphones.
I'm interested in Cortana and the fact that there's integration. I'm not sure how I would use it, but it sounds interesting, and there's potential there that's unique. I don't think anybody else has done anything like that.
I think, yeah.
In terms of AI,
right?
Well,
the integration with I'm listening to my music and Cortana tells me I have a meeting. And
okay, I see what you're saying.
That's kind of cool.
Because there are, so that like both the QC Series 2, they have a button where you can program for Siri
For functions.
for functions, but it's not like seamlessly integrated to where it almost wants the music and Cortana. Like, oh hey, by the way, you're in. So that's pretty cool.
I feel like if you were deeply ingrained into the Windows or Surface ecosystem, that it's an added benefit to that. But as a Joe off the street user who maybe doesn't even have a Surface device, I don't think they're buying those headphones. Because you're definitely not buying them for the driver.
Here's the thing. Okay, that's true. Here's the thing, though. I don't like being tied to any ecosystem. Like,
that's hard.
it is. They've made it hard.
I agree.
I don't like it. Like, for example, with the iPhones or with the Surface, I don't want to have to use. I want to be able to use whatever I want.
iOS and Windows.
You know what I mean? I don't want to use a Windows computer with the Apple phone, the Apple Watch. I don't want to use your headphones. I don't want to use your music software. I want to use what I want to use. I want to have that ability to choose what I want to choose because of whatever preference I have instead of being locked into.
You don't like the experience.
Exactly. Even with the whole, like the home, I mean, we're deviating off of topic, but with the whole HomePod, it'll only work with Apple Music.
It works best in that ecosystem.
Right. But if I say, hey,
you can't say play Spotify or whatever.
right. I gotta be careful. I don't want to activate all the series and the
ALEXN.
It's happened so many times. It's not funny. It's annoying now.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so outside of that, the headphones were the most surprising thing. They got
Surface Studio. looks great. It's probably a very good thing to got the biggest upgrade. Unfortunately, got a $500 price increase as well.
That makes sense.
Still looks nice.
The color looks really
I-
good.
it-
That black.
Did they change anything about the screen, or is it the same one? I mean,
I
they
believe-
don't have to change anything about that
Yeah, I
screen.
believe there was something changed about the screen.
Maybe a higher refresh rate or something.
Possibly. The big
Screen's
thing
beautiful
was
anyways.
the processor and the new SSD, full SSD drive.
I don't know.
The color, that's what I noticed first. The black color.
Yeah.
Even Mac Pros, they did that grayish.
No, Surface Studio is not getting the black.
Are you sure?
Just the Pro.
Oh, you meant the color of the chassis. I thought you
Right,
meant
the
color
entire-
reproduction of the
Right.
screen,
Yeah,
Huh.
Oh.
it's going to be
the silver.
so,
Then, yeah, they like that silver. But I think, what is it, the Surface Laptop's the only thing that...
and
and the Surface Pro.
I could have sworn I saw a Surface Studio with a black. Maybe I'm
special custom.
Maybe it looked beautiful. I mean, I don't know why. That's super weird. But I thought I saw Surface Studio as like full black with.
Could have been the marketing materials.
Maybe.
So, outside of that, everything else was just spec bumps for the internals for the most part, which is good. I get excited about that stuff.
Yeah, the quad core options now on the Surface Pro is appealing.
Yeah, I think it makes them way more usable. The Apple event that happened so long ago, is there anything that you guys want to talk about?
Watch
for that one?
for-
How's your watch?
I love it. I love it. I mean, I've been wanting an Apple Watch since the Series 0, Series 1 came out. But the hardware just wasn't there. It was their first iteration and kept getting better and better. But I think the Series 4, if you're thinking about buying a watch, Apple Watch, and you have an iPhone, I would say now would be the perfect time to buy it.
See, it's one of those things that when I got one, no, I didn't pay for it, Work provided it, so if it was my money, I don't think I could have afforded it. But now, let's say that I were to lose my job tomorrow and not have it anymore. Knock on wood. Where's the wood? There it is. If I didn't have it, then I would actually realize, wow, I use that thing really heavily. It's a really small quality of life thing that you don't really notice
Until you don't have it.
until you don't have it.
It's an extension, like you have your phone, and it's just an extension of it. You know, you see the way I see it best is, oh, hey, spend $1,500 and get a phone, and then spend $500 so you don't ever have to touch the phone that you just bought. That's kind of how it is. But
Kind of counterintuitive.
see, I love the tech. I love tech. So if there's something cool and new out there, I want to have it. So that's kind of what this is. I love knowing that I have the latest and greatest right on my list. And so far, so good.
So what else from the Apple? It was mostly spec bumps for the iPhone.
iPhone 10, not a whole lot. I would say just expected stuff.
The
no
things that-
iPads, no Air.
Yeah, that was kinda weird.
no-
Okay, so that's one thing that was weird from the Apple event. No iPad. I thought we were getting a new iPad. I'm frustrated.
Right? iPad.
All right,
iPad Pro.
good talk.
The Air Power Mat, the AirPods 2, the iMac. Well, the iMac.
Yeah.
iMac Pro. They did it.
Possibly still coming.
Maybe. I don't know. There are rumors again about there being a possible next event. What I think is Apple does their event and then Google kind of overshadows them, so they want to keep the highlight, like the spotlight on them, so they kind of broke it down into. Again, I'm just throwing stuff out there. They have their first event. Everyone releases Samsung, and they all have their events, and then Apple does their event again, and kind of the spotlight goes back to them. So I think that might be what is going on, but I'm not sure yet because we haven't talked about it.
I will say the biggest thing I think they've done this year is their updates to the MacBook Pros, which didn't even warrant an event.
Right. That was another thing that was super weird. The iMac Pro, the MacBook Pro, all of that stuff. Like, I had no idea. Brian came to me one day and he's like, "Oh, did you see the new one?" I was like, "What? Why would it's such a huge? The iMac Pro is such a huge thing. We just got one back there." Oh yeah.
That's not for us though.
It's not. I wish. But still, it's a beautiful piece of machine. But they didn't have anything to highlight it.
Well,
It's weird.
for the longest time, I mean, anyone who was a professional that did a lot of heavy work in Mac OS really only had the trash can option. Sorry, the previous version of the Mac Pro, which what was it, 2013?
Yeah.
So the 2013 Mac Pro was all they had for 5 years, something like that.
We still have that.
And we still have it, and we're fixing it. It's still really good hardware, albeit 5-6 years old at this point. But yeah, so if you were doing any work that was in Final Cut or anything like that, what are the Final Cut users supposed to do? I feel like that was kind of part of the reason for them doing the iMac Pro, was to give it something to tide you over. Okay, so our last segment is our recurring segment, which we call Rapid Fire. Brian, you want to talk about this one a little bit and we'll lay it on?
Yeah, so we're just going to go through a couple of topics here, and we'll run through real fast, 10-second responses.
So you're going to hit us with the topics, and we'll give you 10-second, really short responses. What are our thoughts about it?
Yep.
Okay.
So first one is the Google breach.
Uh-oh.
I don't think breaches are good. And that's about it. That's about it.
What do you think of the decision not to disclose it?
Terrible idea.
For Google not to disclose it? I think it's super shady, and I think it's kind of coming to a head with a lot of decisions that they've been making up to this point in terms of collecting user data and all their best practices, all their practices. This has kind of come to a point where it's like, all right, when does it stop? When do we actually put our foot down and say enough is enough?
And what happened 3 or 4 months ago? Like, it's been a while since the whole breach. And what, 500,000 users?
I actually don't know what the
It's a pretty big breach.
Right.
So I guess that would be my answer is, how can we put our foot down?
Right.
Who gets fired? Well, I gotta put my pitchfork.
A lot of people are going to get fired over that. And what's
Yeah.
crazy is I feel like Google's going to step to kind of like, put stuff in. Like, oh, here's the Pixel event, and here's something else, and something else, kind of to take your attention away from, oh, well, there's been a huge security breach. So everyone's talking about the Pixel 3 XL, and no one cares about the big breach that's happened. And they've sloshed the entire Google Plus.
And that was going to be my next thing, is anybody sad that Google Plus is going away?
What was that? Google? Is that an application?
I've never used it, don't care for it.
Oh, that's their Facebook. Oh, okay, that's right. That they would force you to create something.
Right.
Certain things.
But I don't really care for it. I know a lot of people with the
Yeah,
Orca,
because it's for
LinkedIn, the Google Plus, I think was a big thing, but I don't really care.
I think it was just too late to the party.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those would be my rapid fire answers. I think someone's going to get fired.
I think an entire team is going to get fired.
Sandy thinks that they're going to dangle something out in front of the public to
Well,
take
it's
people's
already been
attention
done.
away.
It's already been done.
And then as far as Google Plus shutdown, we both share the same sentiment. We don't care. Next one.
Last one. Windows 10
Oh,
fall update.
The fall update. What about it?
And so people reporting that files will be deleted off the machine
Yep.
after they updated. Was this a one-off thing? Or is this something more systematic with the way Microsoft is doing their twice-a-year refreshes? That they're focusing more on features than maybe some stability.
Yes. So I actually went to a session at Ignite with Donna Sarka, the head of the Windows Insider program, and she had, I can't remember his name now, I'm terrible with names, but the guy who does Windows updates, the guy who's in charge of rolling out Windows updates, and I think it is the former, them about pushing out updates and new features without focusing on stability. They're more excited about pushing out new features to the users, and you're going to run into some software bugs. I think that's what led to the files getting deleted. Now, however, Donna did tweet that they're going to roll that update back, and they're going to stop pushing it out.
well, that's already been done, but the issue is still question arises: how did this happen?
Yeah.
Because there's a team that develops the entire thing, and there's a team that does the Q&A and makes sure there's no issues.
Mm-hmm.
So the question arises: how did you first allow this? Like, how did you design this to happen this way? And the question arises: how did you let this go up without any questions? And I think I remember reading on a lot of the forums that a lot of beta testers did report to Microsoft that, hey, this is happening, but I don't think they really took any action.
That's Donna Sarkar. Sorry, I misspoke.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if they were aware of it, but a lot of users did mention it to them while beta testing. Because you gotta understand, with the Windows Insider program, a lot of people, they're very passionate about it, and they do beta test it. They have separate machines just to beta test it. Now you gotta listen, that's the reason you have Windows Insider program, so you can beta test it, you can go through all the bugs, squash out all the bugs, and release it to the mass public if I had important. And for me, I like going and I like updating and having my machine security, all of it. Mm-hmm. If I were to go and do that and I were to lose all my files, now I'm gonna be mad. Sure, you should have it all saved on a hard drive and on the cloud or whatever, but what if you don't do that? It's a serious issue. There should be some kind of precaution.
So I think we should, the same sentiment, it was a careless mistake.
And I think people are going to get fired because of that. It's just because it happened once, does that mean it's going to happen again?
Yeah, and I don't know that I've read how many people it's affected.
Right.
I know I've done the update.
I think it was very limited. I think it was a ton of anecdotal evidence is the other thing. Which, not to say that people are lying.
Right.
I'm totally not saying that. But it's, when it comes to things like ChargeGate, BendGate, those are measurable.
Right.
This one, if the files are gone and deleted forever, that you can't track that. So that also makes it.
I believe I read last night there is a way to cut around the free tools that's permanently deleted.
Oh, okay. So there is.
You can contact Microsoft and all.
Oh, cool.
Because it's like you have, whenever they do an update, they do still keep like the previous image or whatever stored on your computer temporarily or something like that.
There's probably some.
This was actually some third party tool.
Okay. Well, it's got to recover from somewhere. So.
Okay, that's rapid fire.
That is rapid fire. That was fun. Okay, well, and actually, in the way that our format works, we do IT updates, we do some talking points, and then we do our recurring segments. So that is actually it now.
Yeah.
So that was the first podcast.
That was awesome. Pretty nice.
So thank you all for joining us. We're going to sign off for now. If we have some 360 footage, we'll show that as an outro. But anyways, we'll talk to you later.
Thanks for joining us.